Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be talking about atrophic rhinitis. It is also known as ozena. Atrophic rhinitis is a chronic inflammation of the nose which is characterized by atrophy of the nasal mucosa and the terminate bones. So it is actually it's an infection, but in this infection there is atrophy of the structures of the nose, and that is why it is called atrophic rhinitis. It can be primary or secondary. Primary means that we are not able to find any cause, but still some etiologies have been proposed. So to remember the primary causes of atrophic rhinitis, we can remember this mnemonic hernia, that is H for hereditary. It has been known to run in families. Then some endocrinal causes. It has been shown that this disease starts at puberty. It is more common in females and it ceases after menopause. So maybe it has some hormonal relation. Then it is more commonly seen in white and yellow races. So some racial factors are also there. Then nutritional deficiencies have also been noted, like deficiency of vitamin A, D, and iron. Some infective etiologies have been proposed, and the common organisms which have been isolated are Klebsiella ozeni, which is called Perry's bacillus, and that is why this disease gets its name from this bacilli, that is ozena. Then diphtheroids, Proteus vulgaris, and E. coli. All these organisms have been isolated from the atrophic rhinitis patients. Then some autoimmune uh, etiology has been proposed where the antibodies they destroy the structures of the nose. So HERNIA, these are the causes of primary atrophic rhinitis. Then some causes of secondary atrophic rhinitis. It has been shown that with these diseases, atrophic rhinitis, there are more chances of having atrophic rhinitis, like in leprosy, in lupus, syphilis, rhinoscleroma. Now all these are chronic granulomatous lesions which destroy the nose. Then long-standing purulent sinusitis, radiotherapy to the nose, or excessive surgical removal of turbinates. In all these conditions, there is atrophy of the structures of the nose. Regarding the pathology, it has been shown that the normal ciliated columnar epithelium of the nose, it is replaced by stratified squamous epithelium in this disease. And there is atrophy of the seromucinous glands, the venous sinusoids, the nerve elements. Also, the arteries in the mucosa, the periosteum, and the bone, they show obliterative end arteritis. And terminate bones, they also undergo resorption. So the basic thing is that all the structures of the nose, right from the mucosa up till the bone, they get resorbed and they get atrophied in this disease. The clinical features of atrophic rhinitis, the most common feature is merciful anosmia. Now, merciful anosmia means inability to smell. So, patients with atrophic rhinitis, they cannot smell the substances, but because of the crust in their nose, there is foul smelling discharge, or foul smell comes from their nose, which is uh, um, a cause of their social outcast. However, they are not able to smell their foul smell, but the person sitting nearby, they can smell. That is why it is called merciful anosmia. Then second symptom is nasal obstruction. Now we might be wondering that because there is resorption, the cavity becomes roomy in atrophic rhinitis. Still there is nasal obstruction because that roomy cavity, it is filled with crust. So these crusts they block the nose. That is why there is nasal obstruction. Then on attempt to remove those crusts, it leads to epistaxis. On examination, that is on anterior rhinoscopy, the nasal cavity is seen filled with greenish or grayish dry crust which bleed on removal. Then also septal perforation is seen in such patients. Then dermatitis of the vestibule. Vestibule, it is the anterior inferior part of the nasal cavity which is lined by skin. So the skin is also infected in vestibule region. And then saddle nose deformity is seen where the dorsum of the nose dips because of the resorption of the bone and cartilage. Then similar changes are also seen in pharynx and larynx. So atrophic pharyngitis and atrophic laryngitis is also seen in such patients. And hearing impairment can be seen, which is secondary to the blockage of the eustachian tube by the crusting, which causes middle ear impaired ventilation and hearing impairment. The treatment of atrophic rhinitis, it primarily consists of removing of the crust by nasal irrigation. So nasal irrigation can be done with alkaline solution, which is called alkaline nasal douching, and this alkaline solution can be prepared at home. So we can prepare it by taking a teaspoonful of powder which contains 1 part soda bicarb or soda bicarbonate, 1 part sodium biborate, and 2 parts sodium chloride. We mix all these in 280 milliliters of water, and this solution, this is called alkaline solution, this is pushed through one nostril so that it comes out through the other nostril, and it will soften the crust and it will remove the crust without any bleeding. Then after the crust have been removed, the nose can be lined with 25% glucose in glycerin. The role is that it inhibits the growth of proteolytic organisms. Then there are some commercially available antibiotic paints or solutions. For example, Camicetin anti-ozena solution. It contains chloromycetin, estradiol, and vitamin D2. So this has also given good results in atrophic rhinitis. Continuing with the medical treatment, estradiol spray has also been tried for this disease. Now the mechanism of action is that it increases the vascularity of the nasal mucosa and regeneration of the glands. Then placental extract has also been injected submucosally, so it will decrease the roomy cavity, the size of the cavity. Then some systemic antibiotics can be used, for example, streptomycin in the dose of 1 gram per day for 10 days, and especially it is effective against Klebsiella. Then potassium iodide can be given orally, which promotes and liquefies the nasal secretions. So these are all the medical part of the treatment. Then surgical treatment consists of Young's operation. In Young's operation, both the nostrils are closed at the vestibule level by raising flaps, and these are kept closed for 6 months so that the mucosa in the nasal cavity gets time to revert back to normal. However, since both nostrils are closed, so the patient might complain of uncomfortable difficulty in breathing. So a modified Young's operation is there in which the nostrils are partially closed. Then other modalities of surgical management include narrowing of the nasal cavities. The nasal cavities in atrophic rhinitis, they are roomy. So if we narrow the nasal cavity, then there will be less crusting. Now this narrowing can be achieved by either submucosal injection of Teflon paste, medial displacement of the lateral wall, or insertion of the fat, cartilage, or bone under the mucosa. So all these things, they will decrease the space of the nose and decrease crusting. Thank you.